ToolShed Art Club. That was passion.
I got to tell you, I was passionately mad at you today. I had the most. The fear of missing out hit me hard when I saw that picture of you hanging out backstage with Bert.
Yeah, I figured that it might give you those feelings.
So that's why you did it?
Yeah, I was like, and when did I text you last night at 3 a.m.?
No, you texted me that at like 9 a.m.
Okay.
today.
That's how tired I was. Because when I got home, I was going to text you and say things went awry. And I've been up late. Well, yeah, and then I had work to do the night before. So, I mean, I was going on like over 40 hours without sleep, which I have not done in a long time. And I'm not really fond of, but like I kind of like once you've been up for like a really long time, like the world just becomes kind of like interesting.
Yeah.
To the point of like, what is this place? Why am I here?
Well, it's either that or it's the crystal meth.
Yeah, I'll give you a good 20-day run.
Yeah. Hell yeah. So what happened last night? How'd you end up backstage?
Just through the Funny Bone, Colleen.
Nice.
Colleen hooked me up with the ticket, and I just wanted to go. I was like, oh yeah, this seems cool because it's Bert Kreischer's Fully Loaded tour.
Yeah.
And I have never been. It was at the Pinnacle Bank Arena.
Yeah.
Which is huge.
I was just in the backstage there a month ago.
And I mean, there was a ton of people there. And I think, I thought there was going to be like 5 or 6 comics, but then more went on. There might have been like close to 10. I don't know. By the time Bert got on, it was like 10:30. But the way that they have it set up is, there's like 2 giant screens on both sides of the stage, and then the comics in the middle. They even had like a DJ in between. And so it was a party atmosphere, which you would expect from Bert Kreischer. But it's just kind of cool that he put this whole thing together and he brought all these comics. And actually with the sound system is it a stadium? Is it inside like basketball arena type thing? Is that considered a stadium?
I don't know what it's technically. I mean, it's a big arena. I think
arena.
They call it arena.
That's what it was. Yeah, I was just drawing a blank. And it was cool because like everyone was there to laugh. Like every comic had a great set. Some better than others, that still had a good set. But me, just like personally, like I think that out of all of Fortune, she crushed, dude. She's at the top of her game. Master storyteller, just killed it with like all aspects of stage presence, material, confidence, funny. Like she won the night. I mean, I don't know if you can really compare it to, everybody was there for Bert. You could tell. Like, I think it was like an added bonus that you get to see all these cool comics. Like Jay Farrow was there. Jay Farrow, that was the first time I saw him live, and he's got like incredible stage presence. And he's an impression guy. I didn't know he did impressions. And he does them good.
You caught up with Bert, you knew him from back when he was doing Funny Bones and stuff.
Yeah, dude, it's just wild. He comes out, chugs a beer, rips off his shirt, and he's swollen. He's not the muscle swollen either. He is like literally, no hate on Bert. He's absolutely hilarious, and I love him. I mean, I'm worried about the amount of beer he drinks, as should anybody. But he's swollen. It looks like an overinflated air mattress.
Oh.
But granted, he's been on tour, and you know that you're partying up. So you're filled with sodium.
Yeah.
You're filled with,
I love that you're giving a medical breakdown
of Bert's. Yeah, I was like,
I didn't know that we were going to go the direction where you're like, I checked his vitals. And
yeah, after the show, I was like, Bert, can you come here and put this around your arm?
Who was the healthiest comedian? That's the question I should have been asking you.
Who was the healthiest?
Yeah, it sounds
probably
like
Jay Farrow.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks fit.
What a difference when I was at Pinnacle backstage, I was there to watch MMA fights. And so it was MMA fighters walking around, the Hells Angels sponsored it, so they were walking around. I was
Like, were they in their Hells Angels shirts?
Oh yeah, like
They were?
They're patched up, dude. Yeah, they were.
And they were like, we're here to stab people.
They were selling their Support Your Local 81 shirt, and they had materials. So they were walking around.
I just thought you said support your Lady One.
No.
Like, they actually, the Hells Angels turned into a society that helps widows.
Well, they might. But yeah,
Helps them out of their money.
Yeah. Have you ever heard that? The Support Your Local 81?
No.
That's what the 8 and the 1 stands for. HA.
And do they have do they take donations, or do they consider like robbing people the donation?
I think they take donations. So and then I was
at Knife Point. Do they take donations at Knife Point?
No, they were gentlemen. And then I sat next to a guy that's a retired.
Did you see that they were kind of like itching to stab someone though? Like,
I couldn't. It was dark inside, so I couldn't get a read on the facial expressions on the Hells Angels there. But no, I sat next to a retired MMA fighter, and there was this guy who was really drunk and belligerent, and he was screaming at some kid at the table who I didn't even know, and he was like, "I will F up you and your whole table." And I'm sitting next to this MMA fighter, and I'm thinking, I don't think you will. I don't think you will do that.
Was the guy throwing threats in MMA?
He was not a Hells Angels. Oh, the guy that was throwing threats. I don't think that guy trained. He looked like Bert Kreischer. He kind of looked like Bert Kreischer. So.
Well, you could take a punch down if you're real swollen.
Yeah. And I don't know if Bert trains or not. So yeah, what a difference in the arenas there. So, but sounds like you had a good time, and you were there pretty late, huh?
The show got over after 11, and then we went out and hung backstage, and I got a pretzel. I'm just not I look like Bert after I ate the pretzel because of the amount of salt.
Did you have to pay for the pretzel?
Oh, I paid for it.
Well,
I paid for it with my electrical bill.
You've had a good run with comedians. You just got back from L.A., which we kind of dipped our toe into in the last episode, but I wanted to get into that even more because...
Yeah, we cut it out. We had the duck die.
It's horrible. Yeah,
and we kind of talked about it for a minute, but I cut it out because I was like, no, this story is not complete, and it's not going to be told at all until it's told in its entirety.
The last episode, we talked about how you flew out there, you had an Uber. The guy that gave you the Uber ride was really based and wanted to tell you about 15-minute cities. You saw a lady scratch her butt cheeks in L.A.
Yeah.
So once you and Adam were together, what I want to talk about, what I think is fascinating, is you and Adam Devine's apartment number when you guys live in L.A. is unbelievable.
We lived in Costa Mesa because that's where we told our parents we were going to go to school.
Did you lie to your parents about where you went to school?
No, we went to school, but we didn't really care about it. I never got my grades.
You just did stand-up comedies?
Yeah. Oh. I just went there and then went up and hung out in Hollywood at the Comedy Store, Improv, Laugh Factory, Aha Cafe.
Yeah.
That was the point. That was the mission.
I see.
But yeah, so we lived in one place, Merrimack Woods, and we liked it because they had palm trees everywhere, and we're from Nebraska, and they had little streams, and it was kind of like a cozy little place. And then they ended up, right before we moved, we lived there for a year, and when we were getting ready to move after the lease was up, they cut down all the trees. And they're like, it is now Sunset Cove. And I'm like, yeah, it's just the blazing sun on the apartment complex.
There's no shade.
And now when we went back, they changed it to, it's Aquatic Cove. They've really taken special care of the little streams and waterfalls.
Is it now just like the part of California that's underwater that they always say? Is that why it's Aquatic Cove? It's just all underwater now?
Yeah, it's flooded. It's back sewage.
Did you and Adam have a plan? Like, okay, if we ever have California break off while we live here, this is what we need to do.
Oh, no. No, our plan was probably to party and die in the streets. And then, so then after we got out of that place, then we had two good friends.
But what was your number though? You didn't.
Well, no, yeah. So,
we haven't got to that part.
Yeah, okay, D209 at Merrimack Woods. Then we moved to Camden when two of our friends that weren't, they weren't going to be in the entertainment industry or trying to do. They're like, California. I just graduated from high school. Let's do this.
Yeah.
And they came out and lived, and it was four of us in a 2-bedroom. And we ended up with C420.
Yeah, that's why we hit that 420 and our clocks is running out.
That was the dance we did.
Yeah,
and we didn't pick. It's not like we showed up and we were like, and we will take 420 as a number.
And you only listen to Cottonmouth Kings?
What's that?
Did you only listen to Cottonmouth Kings in there?
Well, I mean, before we moved out to California in high school, we listened to Cottonmouth Kings a ton because they were huge
Bump, bump.
in
It's
Omaha.
the sounds of the city.
Yeah. Which Life Ain't What It Seems is kind of that. I mean, that's what I walk up to on stage right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Life ain't what it seems. He's got the coolest lisp ever, but it's a fun song. But yeah, no, what's crazy is then those guys are from Orange County.
Yes.
And when we moved out there, you know, like a few months later, I saw like D-Lo. I saw one of the members at a gas station there. And he had like a big truck that was like jacked up.
Did you say
And I
something
know who
to
they
him?
were because I went to like 10 of their concerts.
Did you say something to him?
No, because I wasn't.
Did you say,
I didn't want to, you know, like I don't even know, like Cottonmouth Kings, like
I'm
sign
psychoanalytical?
you know, I didn't even, probably, it was summertime. I don't even know if I had a shirt. I'd be like, sign my man tits.
Yeah. That'd be cool to
In the
see.
gas station parking lot.
D-Lo, rip shit up. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Did Adam, did you run back to the apartment and be like, Adam, I saw D-Lo at the gas station?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I
yeah,
told them
dude.
all.
Of course
I'm
you
like,
did.
Cottonmouth Kings, man.
So
They're
yeah.
representing, you know,
Was
Honey
that-
Beach, stay wild.
Now at
Are you from
apartment
Huntington Beach?
that's at apartment 420, is that where you live by the other guys from Workaholics?
No, when we were at Merrimack Woods, they lived in the apartments across the street.
Okay.
Blake, this dude named Teddy, who ended up moving back to the Bay Area. He was actually an incredible actor. He was in an independent film that Kyle Newacek and his brother just did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he's doing some other. So it was Teddy, Blake, and Kyle. That's who we met. And then Kyle ended up going up to LA Film School and got this, like brick apartment in Skid Row.
Yes.
Basically, is what it wasn't actually Skid Row. It just looked like it because it was like a studio apartment with just all brick wall, and you could do whatever you wanted. So we just used to spray paint.
420 on it.
Yeah, definitely.
Cottonmouth Kings.
1,000 times 420.
Cottonmouth Kings.
We're
here,
in
but they were never
college.
there.
420.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, we ended up with 420. We didn't ask for it, which in college it's perfect because people would be like, "Where's the party? Where are you located?" And we're like, C420.
Did you ever have like any famous people wander into your parties at 420, like in LA?
No, it was because we're in Costa Mesa. We knew one actress, and then she was good friends with, and at the time he was pretty popular, Devin Sawa. Do you know who Devin Sawa was? Final Destination.
Oh yeah.
Idle Hands.
Yes. Yeah.
But I mean,
I
like
know.
we ran into him, but
That's cool. Were you scared something bad would happen to you?
no, but it was interesting because before we moved to California, one of the movies Adam and I went to was Final Destination.
That's wild.
And then we're out in California and we're like, we've made it. We're
So-
hanging out with Devin Sawa.
So you and Adam were roommates in LA, but you guys were, legit friends in high school. I think we were talking last time that your wife used to actually give him like piggyback rides home from school after he got
Yeah.
into his accident and stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
you've known him. You knew him.
Yeah, she knew him in middle school, and I met him when I was a sophomore. He was a freshman.
You were at the same hotel that all the medium things incident happened at, which people I guess could go look up all the medium things.
Yeah, that was a clip. Actually, I just saw that. I think you told me about that with Bert Kreischer.
Oh yeah, it was, huh?
He was talking about it.
Wow, yeah. So yeah, you were too. Now, when you guys met, how did that work? Did you want to be a comedian first or an actor? Did he want to be an actor or a comedian first? How did that work?
Yeah, Adam always wanted to be an actor,
And what about you?
a comedian.
Okay.
Stand-up.
So it just was a natural friendship because it's both an entertainment, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, like we met in drama class, and we think alike.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we have the same kind of sense of humor.
Yeah.
Like even when I was out there, we were joking around. I don't know how it got up, and we're like, yeah. And then they would have this in their house, and we kept going. I'm like, yeah, some armor. I forget what we were talking about. He's like, I was gonna say armor. Like so, we already kind of had that, and so we just wanted to do plays. Like I had convinced all my classes where you would have to write papers.
Yeah.
Like essays. I was like, can I just make a movie instead? So we have 3 movies that we made in high school. One's Trouble Running, where I really I'm watching Forrest Gump. and I fall asleep, and then but you don't know I fall asleep. It's a
Yeah.
thing. And then I was like, leave my parents a message, and I'm like, I'm gonna run across the United States like that retard Forrest Gump.
And Adam was in that one.
Yeah. So then I get hit by a car, and this is how, like, we don't know like what we're doing. We're just trying to think of things that are funny, So him and this other guy, hillbillies, kidnap me and tie me to a tree, and then put these like cow milkers on me, and they suck on it until they milk me, and they're both like spraying milk all over their face from my nipples. I made this for creative writing class. I still have it. So they're like, and Adam's like, I got a good one right here. And then they pour ranch dressing on me and then dip fried chicken in it and eat it. And then I escape.
You turn that
And then I escape. And I'm running down the street, and but the things are, the milkers are falling off. So I'm running down a gravel road at night with the milkers, and they're flapping up and down. And there's one kid that that was like a hardcore Christian, but I think he was because he had like severe, like, he was on Ritalin and everything.
Okay.
But when you took him off the Ritalin, he was like, wow!
Yeah.
He was like, the demons are coming out tonight.
Yeah.
And so he would always carry a Bible around, which is interesting because later on, when we were in our 20s, he snapped on Facebook and like became like an atheist. And weird how that, like a hardcore one,
Yeah.
where he's like, I am God now. So he left the class. He said that it was too disturbing.
What'd your teacher think?
It's fucking weird. I mean, that was weird. I mean, like, she's like, all right, I guess I'll give you an A.
Yeah.
So we made that one, and then we made one called the Manila Envelope, where we had a good buddy, still do, and he's a great actor. He actually went to school for acting, for college. And
Is it that guy with red hair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He studied in Russia.
Oh.
Because like in Russia, like acting is almost a religion for them.
Yeah.
Like they take it really serious. So he went there and studied. So we got him to do it, and he was a year younger, I even think, than Adam. So I was the oldest. Adam was a year younger than Mike. And, so I meet him in a forest, and he's a magical leprechaun that does a dance.
Of course.
And then, I get the Manila envelope, and then I take it to this man, and I don't even remember what it is. So, and there was the old abandoned train station in downtown Omaha.
Yeah.
And we snuck into it and filmed it in there.
Nice.
And that one's weird.
Sounds like it.
And then the last one we made is called Gone for the Day. And it's me and Adam devise a plan to skip school. And we go like on a picnic and push each other on the swings.
Tell me about the first time you ever laid eyes on Adam Devine. Tell me that story, because
he was in a wheelbarrow.
Wasn't he didn't you say he's doing like tricks with his crutches?
Yeah, he was
like
I was in trouble because I was always in trouble.
Yeah.
And I was sitting waiting to see the principal for whatever reason. And since he'd been on crutches so long, he was like Circus du Soleil act,
Yeah.
He was like doing twisties and doing all these tricks. And I was just kind of laughing, and then he ended up being in my drama class.
So so I want to go back to you being sent to the principal's office a lot in a second, but would he get sent in the office a lot, or was he, because here's the thing, my friends would always get sent to the office, but my mom worked at the public school, so I always kind of knew when to stop. And what I was a master at is I could get right up to that line, and I might even be able to put a toe over, but then I knew when to back off. But I would get everybody else so amped up. They're like, yeah, we're doing crazy stuff. And then what would happen is somebody else they wouldn't read the room. They wouldn't read the teacher's body language. Take it too far. They get sent out.
They get busted.
Yeah.
You
and
started
I'd be like,
it. You knew where that
you
line was.
You should have seen.
You're like,
you should have noticed when his face got red that was the time to stop.
Yeah, you should listen to Johnny
so you
Cash
were the kid,
and know where that line is, son.
So you were the kid that had no ability to read.
No, I did. I just sometimes I would take it too far. But I mean, like I would do, because then after Columbine happened, because that was 99. I graduated in 01.
Yeah.
Like things just changed. Like we had security guards then.
Yeah.
And you had to have like a hall pass, like a yellow piece of paper.
Yeah.
And I always had one, but I would screw with like the security guards. Like I would walk down the hall and they would go, "Let me see your pass." And then I would look at them and just take off and start running. And then I'd make them chase me through and I'd go back to my class and then they'd burst in. And it was always like some overweight, like 40-year-old woman that's like, "I hate all of my life choices and my ex-husband." And she's like, and I'm like, "Oh," I go, "Here's my pass," and I have it. And they would just be like, "You, dude."
One time on a side note, my brother, all my brothers were over at my oldest brother's house, and he was sitting outside shirtless, and a cop came driving by, and he just sprinted down the front yards and was hopping over fences and stuff. And the cop was like, wasn't sure like if he was supposed to pursue him or what.
Yeah.
So that's the same vein. I love that.
Like in gym class, after Halloween or whatever, around that time, I had a bunch of blood capsules.
Yes.
And I put them in my mouth in gym class, and we had to run lines where you'd run to one, touch it, run back, and I pretend to slip and fall, and then I pretend to hit my head on the floor, and then I held it for like a really long time and bit him. And the gym teacher, and she was a super nice lady, she came and she grabbed my shoulder and she goes, "Are you okay?" And I just look up and I'm like, "Gah." And I have just blood everywhere. And she's like, "Oh my God, get to the nurse's office." So she takes me there and they clean me up. But here's the deal. It's the fake blood. So it starts to turn pink on like white, like washcloths or whatever. And I'm like, "Oh." So then she's inspecting my mouth. She's like, "I don't see any cuts." And I told her, I was like, "Yeah, when I fell, what I think what happened is my front teeth pushed a little back and then blood shot out my gums." And the nurse is like, "I don't think that
That's
happens." So but then on the ground, it was turning pink, the blood. So then the teacher came in and she was like, "Is that fake blood?" And I just start laughing and I'm like, "Yeah." And I didn't get in trouble or anything. So like I could have fun. But then, sometimes I would have too much fun. So, but Adam he was on student council. I got banned from student council for even running because I put signs up in the women's restroom that said, "Don't be alarmed. I'm the one watching you through your window at night. Vote for Austin Anderson."
Why would you do?
Because it's hilarious. I stayed up all night, dude. I had a stack of signs and I had one, like I only remember a few. One of them said, because Herbal Essence was a popular shampoo then, and I said, "I moan in the shower and I don't use Herbal Essence. Vote for Austin." So they rip them all down and call me to the office, and there's like a stack, and he's like, "What is this?"
Yes.
He's going through each one. He's like, "You are not allowed to run." So, but Adam was on student council and he was on yearbook, and he was a better student than I.
So he was actually legit. What was the dumbest thing you ever got sent to the principal's office for? I'll tell you mine. A friend had super glue, and so we glued a quarter to the floor in our science classroom, and our teacher saw it and like flipped out. She didn't think it was funny at all. And so I went to we all had to be interviewed separately, and they told my one friend that they were going to get the police involved if we didn't fess up to it. And so each of us was like, "Yeah, dude, we super glued the quarter to the floor." And they're like, "All right, you have to clean it up." So we're like, "Okay." So
did you get a sledgehammer?
So
just break
after school, we all three of us showed up, and they handed my friend like what would you call it, like a scraper, and he just goes, Psh, and it slid right off. And they're like, "Okay, you guys can go now."
No one else tried that? A janitor could have?
No, they waited it for us to do it. But what it always got me was that they said that they were going to get the police and to investigate and
you should have let
potentially get charges. Looking back, I wish I would have. But yeah, what was your dumbest story for being sent to the principal's office?
I got sent to the principal's office freshman year for throwing the Vanilla Ice sign in a picture that my French teacher said was a gang sign, and that I was throwing up gang signs and gonna start a gang war.
Were you?
And I went to the principal's office. I'm like, but you couldn't I couldn't pull up the internet then.
Oh,
and I'm like, this is Vanilla Ice, the greatest rapper of all time.
Yeah.
This is his symbol.
Yeah.
And then so, it's just.
Dude, do you remember his song "Hooked" on that album?
No.
Did you?
I remember this though. What it's like having macaroni. It's a roni actually, but wouldn't it be cool if just Vanilla Ice really liked macaroni?
I'm sure he likes macaroni.
I love Vanilla Ice.
No, on that first album, that song "Hooked," where it's about your friend getting hooked to a chick. It's like, dog, he's hooked. Bang, 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 bang,
Yeah.
bang, bang. That was anytime
And
my
it's
friend.
like, lay this funky track down, cause my friend is hooked.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about now?
No, I made that up.
Oh,
but was that pretty much
honestly
on it?
like
How it goes?
pretty close. Here's a story about my homeboy Randy. He was hooked on a girl named Candy. You remember that song?
Yeah. No, now, right, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I used to listen to that song all the time. But it's cool that so you and Adam as friends from high school, you're roommates. He gets a hit with Workaholics. It's cool though that you guys can still hang out and hit it off and basically be right back to where you were before, right? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Can we do some improv real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna be high school friends,
Okay.
and we're friends in high school, and it's been 10 years, and we were super tight in high school. Then the friendship kind of dissolved. You kind of got into drugs.
I got to be the drug
you're,
guy?
You're the one who's kind of you were, but now you're clean. You got a bunch of kids.
What kind of drugs was I into? We got to have the backstory.
Marijuana, dabbling coke. I'm gonna be the one who kind of like went the professional route and stuff. So when you see me, it's a little. You're almost a little bit embarrassed.
Wait, what is your backstory? Your success story?
I just went to college and I got a job where I make $74,000 a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you had to do some gay stuff at the frat?
No.
Okay.
That's not in my
All right, I'm
backstory.
just
But you
checking.
tell yourself that you're already on the
Yeah.
road.
Well,
All
like
right.
I'm, like a drug. I'm a little bit jealous, probably. I
Yeah.
don't know.
So when you see me, you're almost a little bit embarrassed, but you also have resentment. And I'm thinking, man, we had so much fun in high school. I just want to be cool. And you're thinking that I judged you for what you're doing. So we're at a coffee shop. I'm actually on my way to church, and then I see you sitting there with your family. So I'm gonna go up and talk to you. Okay, ready?
What does my family look like?
Mixed race.
Did my wife have a drug problem? Is she kind of weathered?
No,
She doesn't have like weird tattoos she gave herself?
she does have those.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
But
all
she's
right, ready?
hot
Yeah, she can be
or
hot.
weathered?
However she can be both.
Is she only
Sometimes it's
28
better.
but looks like she's smoked non-filtered Camels for the last 10 years?
Whatever. Just roll with how you think. if you think so.
All right.
Ready?
Yeah.
Hey.
Wait, who's the awkward one?
It's just gonna be awkward regardless. 'Cause
Oh.
You're gonna be you're like I said. You got to remember you're feeling a little bit embarrassed.
Yeah. Like I don't
All
want to
right.
see you, so
Yeah.
I'm like, you see me, so I'm just.
But I'm excited to see you because I'm thinking, hey, this is my buddy.
Yeah.
All right, ready?
And this is me looking for. I got a lot of farts, so I'm looking at gas
Nice.
X.
All right. Austin,
Oh yeah,
dude,
hey,
what are you? Hey, dude, what's up, man?
like just just life.
Yeah, dude.
Here with the family.
Yeah, these are little ones here.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
they are.
awesome, dude. I got a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old.
that's cool, man. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy being a dad. It's like, how do you don't really
Yeah,
have time?
dude, I know. I haven't talked to you in a long time. Where are you working at now?
Oh, like just 3M.
Okay.
Factory.
Yeah, that's cool.
Making glue adhesive.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah,
12 hours a
absolutely.
day.
Yeah, man, that's really cool. How long have you been there?
Like 3 years.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, man? What are you up to?
Yeah, I'm the sales manager for the newspaper.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
So people still get like the actual newspaper?
Oh yeah. We're pretty busy, So, but
Okay.
yeah. So you like what you're doing then at 3M?
Yeah. I just stand by a machine and like take out like post-it notes.
Yeah.
Like for 12 hours a day. So I mean, it's all right.
Yeah,
it pays the bills.
Yeah. That is really cool. How's your family doing? I mean,
They're doing great, man. The kids, they're
Yeah.
they're in T-ball.
yeah. Okay.
And one of them's having a little bit of trouble. He's a lazy eye.
Oh, okay.
So we're just trying to get that corrected.
Wow. How's your parents though? I mean, are they retired or?
No, they're just they're getting there.
Okay.
They're doing good though.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, drove by your old house all the time. It's crazy.
Oh.
So yeah,
Right on.
I was actually on my way to church actually. So
Oh.
yeah.
Oh. Okay.
So
What kind of church is that?
it's Berean. Have you ever heard of them? It's kind of a newer
Um,
denomination.
No, like a beret.
No, it's not a beret. It's
Okay.
Berean. They started up in North.
So because you got The Jewish people wear little hats.
Yeah.
The Bereans don't wear berets.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the Jewish people. No, there's we don't wear hats or anything. So
Oh, okay,
yeah.
that's cool.
But yeah, man, it's cool to see you though. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
We should.
Yeah, I'll add you on Facebook or something.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Sweet.
We should kick it sometime.
Yeah, that'd be cool. All right, man.
All right,
Yeah, it's good to see you. So it wasn't like that when you met Adam.
Like when I just went back out.
Yeah, it wasn't like that at all. See, that's nice. That's nice.
No, because if whatever that scenario that just happened there, if I saw you first, or like anyone, where I'm like, oh, maybe we're friends, but it's like we haven't talked forever, and I would have hid and ran. Because I'm like, I don't know, I'm not gonna do the small talk.
I do both. It depends if I'm in a good mood or not. If I'm in a good mood, I'll be like, "What's up?" But then if I'm not in a good mood, I'm like, "Oh, jeez," and then I'll go disappear.
Well, it's like, what are we going to talk about? The
thing.
3 things. Like, what do you do? How's the family?
Yep.
Where you living now?
And it always feels super uncomfortable.
Yeah, and then you got to go like, "Oh yeah, hit you up sometime, man." We're like, we should go out for a drink.
And neither one of us want that.
No,
just flat out, just neither one of us want that. So, yeah. Well, I'm glad that it's not like that with.
Now I did run. It was the funniest thing. So I did run into a girl that was older than me a while back when I first moved to where I am, and I was living in a camper.
Yeah,
and I had a mini Bobcat, a mini skid loader.
Yeah.
At the time, and so
is that the one that almost killed you?
Yeah. So it almost killed me. So I took it over to my father-in-law's. And then started it up because it's from the 70s, so it's a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, it got like it had 2 handles like this, and this is forward, and then you'd like crank it to turn, and then pull them both back to go. But there was never like you couldn't tell when it was locked where it'll be in neutral. Because it was the 70s, and in the 70s they're like, if they die, they die.
Yeah, exactly.
So. It was just like slightly in reverse, and me and my father-in-law were starting to take it down a ramp, and it was in this trailer that had like 4 foot tall sides.
Yeah,
because it was like a kind of like a dump trailer used to for construction stuff, and it got stuck, and then like in reverse and started it up, and it tripped my foot, and then I went back and it smashed me, the 2,020 pounds.
Yes.
Against the back of it, like this, and my shoulders went in, and my chest sternum. I thought my chest sternum was broken.
Yeah,
and I could not like catch my breath, so I'm like, I have to go to the ER.
Isn't that what just happened to Jeremy Renner? Basically,
like, I don't know. His was like a snowmobile.
Yeah,
and I think he saved children.
Yeah, something.
Or
like
he saved lives.
Close enough, I guess.
So mine was just me, unfortunately, being smashed.
Nice.
Without any heroic behavior. And so I got smashed and it hurt so bad. But anyways, that's not it. So then after like a week or two, I'm at the grocery store in Omaha, and I run into this girl. She's like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And talking to him, she's asking how things are going. Well, this just happened. I'm like, well, I got smashed by a bobcat, so I'm dealing with just like a few broken ribs.
Yeah.
Which is not fun. And she's like, a bobcat? Like, she's like, you have a bobcat? I'm like, yeah. Well, it turns out she thought that I meant I own a bobcat. The animal. Yeah. So she's going back and forth, and I go, no. I'm like, I do not own a bobcat. It's a skid loader. And she goes, oh, and she was kind of embarrassed. She was like, you just live such an adventurous life. I just figured you would have had a bobcat. And I walked away from that like, that's kind of cool. I don't mind that.
Yeah.
Like if people that I used to know think that I would be someone who would have a pet bobcat at my house.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Mike Tyson type stuff. I'm cool with that.
When she said adventurous, did she mean like adventurous in a gay sense? Because I can only think of extremely dangerous people like Joe Exotic who have, was it Siegfried and Roy? They had animals. Do you think that maybe that's what she meant? Like she was actually checking to see, like, did this guy?
Yeah, she was like, so were you trying to have sex with the tiger like Joe Exotic does?
Yeah.
Because I watched a little bit of the Tiger King.
Yeah.
No, I'm just not a fan of those human beings. Any of the human beings that were showcased.
Dude, I knew who he was before that documentary came out.
No, but I'm like, okay, these people, not just Joe Exotic, but then like the other guy that had like the cult of young women.
Yes, forgot about that.
Those dudes, they have sex with those tigers. I guarantee it. That's when I was watching it, and I'm not even. I like.
That was on your heart.
They sedate them. They're so bizarre about those animals and talking about like the power and like having them and all this stuff. And then they're obsessed with power as well and like having control over people, that in order for them to feel even more powerful, like nothing would make Joe Exotic feel more powerful than sodomizing a tiger, I think.
Yeah, I guess I never thought of it that way.
So I turned it off.
Well, yeah, I probably would do that too if that's from.
But now that I say that, am I far off on my assessment?
I mean, tigers are my favorite animals, so we have just entered a touchy subject for me. I can't even.
What, tigers are your favorite?
Oh yeah,
yeah. I mean, animals in general are my favorite. I mean, I've got like 30. I would do it. I'd like, and that's why I'm like, I can't. This guy is having sex with tigers against their will when they're tranquilized, and I'm not going to watch it. And that was my deal. And so he's in jail. And you talk to people in jail on an app, because we do have an interview, and we were going to air it this episode, but we're going to wait because we got to go through it. And it's with one of the people that were in the Manson family that stabbed people.
You want to give out teasers, huh?
Yeah. I mean, we always got to tease the future.
Yeah,
so
in a future episode.
You should send. Can you on your app? Do you have access to Joe Exotica?
I could get Joe Exotic.
I wonder if he would admit to if
definitely
he had sex with the tigers.
I don't think he
would.
Will
That affect his parole?
Of course it would. He ain't gonna. Yeah, of course that would affect his parole. I was thinking about.
So they're like, we can't let you back out into the wild, Joe, because of what you do to the wild.
When we were talking about the skits and stuff like that, thinking about it, what's funny is that Crossbows and Mustaches, going back to high school real quick, and you're talking about the skits that you guys made. The cat knew something.
Dude, this cat, it loves me so much, but I've never had a cat before. So this is the cat that showed up.
Oh,
that we
yeah,
talked about last time
episode.
that was like looking through the window, like meow,
it's a nice
meow.
cat.
Look how cute this cat is.
What's its name?
This cat, my son and wife named Sweetie, because they would just be like, hey, come here, Sweetie, because she is a sweetheart.
Yeah.
And then I added Sweetums, Sweetie Sweetums. So it's kind of like a play on like Casey Kasem almost. But
I was actually hoping
Sweetums.
you were going to go like really far left with it and just name it like Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Too many syllables and words.
Oh, that stinks. So,
should have named it
Crossbows
Flea.
and Mustaches, we loved to watch that in high school.
Did you ever have Crossbows and Mustaches was incredible.
We used to always say, the cocaine, man.
Yeah. I mean, they even have that part in there where they're torturing him and there's a hole in the seat and they just put their nutsack in a bag of rats.
So did I was
gone. I had left.
Yeah, you had moved that
when
to LA by that point.
Yeah,
it's and then my favorite so last week we called up Brendan from Weedus because we were talking about the music from that time period, and I know Brendan, so I was like, let's just see if I can call him and get him on the show, and we did our art challenge with him. Well, speaking of that time period, you were saying that when you were in LA, Adam was texting, was it Tom DeLonge?
Yeah, so he's friends
about
with
aliens.
Yeah, well, I don't think Tom talks about anything else as far as I've,
from your experience,
from what I've seen, he could be in the middle of, one thing, but yeah, it's just crazy because like in high school, that was our favorite band.
Yeah,
and
he was and Adam was in that music video, which is like my favorite song on that new album.
Yeah,
have you heard that one? I'm in deep with this girl, but she's out of her mind.
Yeah, so he played the nurse.
Yeah.
So he had become somehow, I think he did like a show where you tell stories, and he told a story about the Blink-182 concert.
Yeah, all the medium things.
And all the medium things. And then he became friends with them, and then, that went over to Tom now that he's back in the band. And, but like he still, like he was showing me some of the text messages, and Tom's still just like sophomore humor.
Yes.
Like, buttholes and penis talk, and I just think it's so.
So the song first,
never still straight 90s, man.
So What's My Age
So
Again
funny.
was really true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's-
they're just like goofy adolescents
well, and then,
that made a bunch of money.
but
God bless them.
the way that you told it to me made sense because Trey Cool was at Adam's wedding, and you need to tell that story too. But kind of what you had said was that they incorporate humor into their music, and then they saw the humor from them incorporated in the stuff.
Yeah, that was Adam's. That was Adam's take on it.
Yeah.
Because he ended up becoming friends with a lot of the major bands that we grew up listening to, like Blink 182, Green Day, and there's others. I just can't think of them offhand.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, dude, that's crazy. And he's like, well, if you think about it, like that was when we were growing up, and a lot of their styles and comedy going to their live shows and just music videos like inspired us.
Yeah.
So they probably see like a little bit of their sense of humor and personality in what I do. So
Absolutely.
then that's probably why we get along. And I was like, that is a good perspective.
Yeah. Tell the story of at Adam's wedding. So tell the story.
Now I feel like I'm just name dropping too much. Is this what people hate?
No, but
Is this a name drop, or is it when we're in regular conversation and I'm like, oh, that reminds me of the time Trey Cool told? Is that more of a name drop? Like, what are the
you're not
boundaries of name dropping?
No, you're not a name dropper. I'm name dropping for you because this is but these stories are like genuinely funny. Like the story of Trey Cool talking to you at the wedding is genuinely funny, and you need to tell it because I loved it. So you have to tell that story.
Yeah, so just hanging out. We all got out there a few days beforehand, and so we're all swimming. 'Cause it's it's Cabo.
Yes,
and it's gorgeous. And so I'm talking to Trey. I didn't really want to talk to him about music stuff. Like he did tell me that they sold the most tickets, made the most money, the biggest tour of that year, Green Day.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's cool. So I just was like, yeah, like, what do you do for fun? And he goes into this elaborate, very detailed tale about how he treasure hunts in his spare time. And he's telling me about the equipment, like mini submarines that you take down, spots that he's looked for gold up in Northern California, like the Caribbean. Like he's going like all in. And I'm like, oh man, I'm like, that's awesome. Like I'm in. Like he is sparing no detail.
Yes.
And then his wife walks by, and I'm like, yeah, dude, he's just telling me right now about, treasure hunting.
Yeah.
And all of his adventures. And she goes, he does not hunt treasure. He is fucking with you. And I look at him and I go, you don't hunt treasure? And he's just like, he like laughs hysterically and then just paddles away. Like she was outside the pool. We were in the pool. And he's just like, and then just goes away or whatever. And I'm like, dude,
that's awesome.
That is dedication to a story.
Yeah.
Because it was not even one time was I thinking, oh, this, like it was too detailed.
Yeah, of course. No, I don't think, like I said, you're not a name dropper, but what I find interesting is you have the interesting experience that most people don't have, which is, you and your friend have goals of what you want to do in your life in high school, and you go out and you're roommates and you're both pursuing it, and then to watch him, become one of the biggest, stars in comedy and movies and stuff like that is just probably an incredible thing. And what's cool though is like you're both still doing it. He's doing his thing. He is a full-time actor, and you're a full-time stand-up comedian. So I think that that's, really cool. And, the stories that come with that are incredible. So no.
Yeah. I mean, it's been, and it's cool. It's just like, to be in that world, you're just very grateful. Even like one of the assistant managers of the Funny Bone last night, Daisy, she was there and she was just like, and she's been at the Funny Bone for 15 years or a long time. And just talking about like being grateful and how cool it is to be able to go backstage and talk with all the comics and stuff like that. Because after a while, like when you first do that, like it could be intimidating.
Yeah.
Or you're like, how do I behave or talk to people? Yeah. And you don't want to, like when you're back there, there's other people there, and they all want like who performs attention. So you just got to be like, hey, what's up? Like, good spot. Like if a conversation further like develops, if it's someone that you don't know, or if it's someone you talk to. But then after a while, we were just saying how it doesn't even, it's just like more natural.
Yeah.
Like of course we're backstage.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that was just cool stories that I love hearing that stuff. So, on our next episode, we got a lot of different ways that we're going to take this podcast. I don't know if we even should give out teasers. I mean, we do have the Manson family at some point will be featured on this podcast, but it's going to require a lot of editing.
And we'll even talk about the insane text or the insane message you got from Tex Watson. I don't know how Matt over here is just like has all these open thread conversations with notorious murderers.
Oh yeah,
well, he's writing a book about it.
Well,
so that's why just about prison in general.
Yeah, I mean, we can do a whole episode on prison. I think it'll be fascinating. But I definitely think we're sitting on gold, some golden content here. Should we do an art challenge this week? Or
Yeah.
What do you think we should do?
I don't know. What's
should we have, something with the cat?
Hold up and present the cat to the camera. Look at this. And I want people to know we took her in. So she showed up on the property. We took her to the vet, made sure, deworm shots, just everything that little kitties need to be healthy. And orange cats are predominantly males. It's very unusual for an orange cat. This is what the vet said.
Really?
To be a female. And that's a female right there. An orange one.
Yeah, that's insane. Actually,
too much hair though. I think should I shave her daily? Can you shave cats?
Maybe. But before we break, dude, I just realized we got to do this quickly because this is actually a big deal. Clarify: did you and Adam Devine witness a murder? Clarify it, because you need to. Before we go, leave us with that story, because the media is making it seem like Adam.
Yeah, and I think they've retracted and they've changed their headlines, which the media and like news sites do.
Yeah,
they always, because they can redact or retract and put it at the bottom and small. And you work with the paper, so they can say like something sensational, and then they go like, oh, we didn't know the real facts. We'll just change the headline.
Yeah.
So we get, I get to L.A., go to this Hollywood Hills home, and we're on his balcony. He's like, yeah, this house over here, dude. And he's like, I think they're having high stake poker games Tuesdays, nothing but Rolls Royce, Bentleys, Lamborghinis, women that are dressed like hookers going in. And all the neighbors are pissed because
they're racing Lamborghinis.
Well, like, it's the Hollywood Hills. The streets are very narrow.
Yeah. And
it's just like trouble. I mean, high amounts of money, hookers. Like, of course someone's going to get shot. So, come here, girl. I got to like hold it like The Godfather.
Yes. While you tell the story of murder.
Yes. So as I tell you the story of murder here. Yeah. So we're standing on the balcony and I'm like, that's crazy, man. I'm like, that's like Wonderland style. Wonderland Murders movie with Val Kilmer. It's a good flick. So, we got stuff to do. And we leave, and then we go down to his place in Orange County because the show that we're doing is at the Irvine Improv. And the next morning, he gets woken up to a detective calling him about murder in front of his house. And then someone sends him like the news article and the clipping, like when you send it to friends, like the main picture is like of his like 3 garages with like yellow tape everywhere. Yeah. Because the guy died like right there. Yeah. And then all these news articles, because he talked about it on This Is Important. I don't know if that episode is out now, because the live show that we did was
out, which is why you're out there. You were opening.
And but it was like every article, if you typed in Adam Devine, was like, Adam Devine says he witnessed a murder. Adam Devine and his wife saw a murder. Yeah. And going on and on. It's like, no, we weren't even there, Yeah. And then like later on, they would switch, like some of them, and they probably switched them on now, like Adam and Devine recalls, murder.
Or they probably were saying like murder at Adam Devine's house, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, something,
Yeah. So it's just
And-
random, and you did not.
Yeah,
witness.
so someone robbed the security guard or got into a fight and was just like, "This is when you die,"
Yeah.
and they shot him.
That's what
And
he
then
said,
so
huh?
we were like, and then his wife, of course, which I don't blame her, like, like, oh my gosh, this is scary. I don't want to go back there. It's a good thing we weren't there.
Yeah.
And then me and Adam were like, yeah, it's a good thing we weren't there. And then we looked at each other. It's like, it would have been kind of cool though if we were, right?
Yeah. Morbid curiosity.
Because that's
at its
morbid.
finest.
That is the morbid curiosity of the male. So I don't know, and I haven't looked. I don't know if they found the guy that did
crazy.
it, but it is crazy.
Yeah. And that was
What
while you were
what
there.
a wild thing.
And
yeah,
it's
that's how we
crazy
got
that,
woke
like,
up.
You were with, because you just stayed with him, right? So you're just probably like sleeping on his couch.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, if this was pre-workaholics, I would have been sleeping on the couch. But instead, I was sleeping on a very nice mattress overlooking the ocean. So
We've got content coming.
plug all the
Social
where
media.
to follow. Yeah, do that.
Yeah,
all.
we're on social media in the description. We got all the links there. Go there. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, ToolShed Art Club. You can find us. We're going to be on all the podcast platforms, YouTube, all of it.
All right. So next week, turn in ToolShed Art Club. Oh, did we say what the artwork is?